Hello everybody! Today's class is about glass rendering. So, first I'm going to use my pencil to trace my object, which is a wine glass. Because I'm going to apply marker for the wine color, I need to use a marker pad. So you have to decide about your paper according to the materials you are going to apply on top. Here, it will be very difficult to make the mirror image. For this reason, keep the mirror image by changing the direction of it. So, for each side, as you notice, I make from the same direction, which is from top to bottom, because it is making everything easier. And because glass is a glossy surface material and it is a transparent one, pencils are very good to apply for it. I'm here using a 2B pencil, but because it is a marker pad, I have to be very careful that I'm not putting too much residue about it. And because I'm making a video, I cannot turn the paper too much unless it is very necessary, but in your case, please act according to the natural flow of the direction of your arm. So, yeah, you can move the paper a little bit. No problem about it. Now, what I'm going to do is to give that glow of the glass, I'm going to use a paper pencil. And if you merge the lines with the shadows, the object becomes an object. Otherwise, it's going to be just lines and they are going to be two-dimensional. Here I'm using a Pro Marker Bordeaux color, which I like very much, and it is perfect for the job. So, with the small tip, I come until that part because I'm going to do a special trick there. So I stop at the same placement. And then, as you notice, I'm making every piece with markers separately. You should never paint it all over without carrying it any divisions. Here, I have a blender. Blenders are not working as you think it's going to work. They are more like a carrier. So you need a surface like a ruler will do, a metal will do. And from that pool, I take and I just have a diluted version of it, because I want to have a glow there. So markers are special materials that is not allowing you to make all over like water and aquarelle or gouache, but still you can do some tricks. But you have to be very careful and you have to make very small distance. Here, because I need to have a good blend, I go with the big tip and I try to cover as much as possible. I'm keeping for the small parts later, like I can deal with it. As you see, now I'm finishing it up. But my main idea is to cover as fast as possible. And I'm going to use the same tip for the small details, because with your hand rolling, you can get very different lines from the same tip. So now, if you satisfy that you are okay, you finish. But then I realized that I can merge even better. So after I apply the marker, I take it. So think about it is a brush. It's just a brush. And you take little water. So if you keep, and if you apply for the paper and then apply markers, the diffusion of it is a little bit slightly more watercolor effect, but not as you imagine. You have to try it. Here, this is a good tip for everybody who is trying to draw very delicate things. Use your pencils. I have a 0.5 pencil, so that first, you can make rehearsal with it. Second, if you mess it up, you can erase it. And third, it's very good for glass because of the color, because of the liquidity and the texture a pencil can do, especially the mechanic pencils. And you don't need to cover everything with one line. Take your time. If you need, this is a good way, like especially for some certain parts, I realize that there is a physical limitation about our bodies. So sometimes when you merge a line from top and bottom and merge it in between, you always get a better result, more controlled result. You don't need to use the same direction all over. And for the glow, I just merge it a little bit. And if you are making glass, you have to note that there are very small details. Even a glass plain as this has. You have to do perfect shape for both ways. And when I'm doing the video, I realized that I need to buy a new glass because I was having difficulty about seeing very small details. So, the big contrast should be there with a glass, and you have to make, you can make the same thing with different solutions. You can make the glass on marker pad, you can make a glass on Canson paper, but what is important, it should be glossy, it should be totally symmetrical, and it should look in the same color. Like every glass has different shades, like some of them are bluish, some of them greenish, some of them grayish, but all of them has a certain color. You can reflect that one, but if you apply too much, like if I was trying to use even the lightest color of markers, it would be colorful glass, not a glass anymore. You have to use the paper color itself. In this case, you are going to have a good result. And the good side about it is that you can erase pencils. Here I'm using a Derwent Colorsoft series black, but any black, any colored pencil will do. I need to make a good blending around the object. And I'm making it clearer now. So, and I'm showing that even with a slight touch, you can make more three-dimensional. Here, what I have is Derwent's Pastel series. Because of the property, you can get some little bit frozen effect. And then, you can do art liners as well. With long strokes, the second one should be starting from the half of it. You can make it in a good way. I have a 0.1 pen art liner, and this is the place that I realize I need glasses even more. When you are more self-confident, let's say when you are able to see it good, or when you know that you can make it, it gives you some self-confidence. For this, you can just make your breathing a little bit more controlled. It helps, like when you draw, you can just release your breath like 1, 2, 3, 4 type of. It's going to make you feel more controlled, and I advise for new beginners to notice that physicality is very important. For this reason, put your elbow on the table. Be sure that your elbow should be there, because otherwise your muscles can be very sore and it will affect on your drawing as well. You need to have a good lighting. These are very crucial. The table should be according to your height, or you should be finding a way to get to that height. Like I'm very small and I'm always working about it. Here, the good side about pencils is, yes, If you are not happy, you can totally erase them. But what is important is it should be symmetrical. Otherwise, all your effort will be meaningless, because the good computer, that is your brain, is going to measure very fast and say that, no, it's not symmetrical, it doesn't look good. So, for these, do whatever needed. If needed, make it twice, make it 3 times. Or if it's a project, at least make every layer counting. And be sure that it is clean and clear. Change the direction of the paper. Find a place that your muscles and your brain is relaxed, and it's going to give you the confidence to make very thin line in a very decisive way. The direction of the pencil is very important in drawing, and you don't need to use every time in the same manner. And here now, I'm nearly finishing. If I have more charge and capacity of my phone, I could have made it longer, but thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed.